I don't know what you think about America's current thing that we got going on over here.
It's oh man, like seeing it from somewhere else, it's like someone said in a chat that we're both in that you play with stupid games, or you play a stupid game, you get stupid prizes. And I think that
Yeah,
kind of hits the nail on the head. You vote for someone stupid, you get something stupid, and that's just completely it.
yeah. Me personally, I'm just waiting for the last 4 seasons of United States of America to, and especially if we get the right president or CEO or whatever you want to call that person.
I think what's happened with the climate of having someone without a political background being put into that sort of space doesn't bode well for the future endeavours of that office. He's got
Yeah,
no political stances like history at all. He's not been a senator. He's not been a governor. He's not been a sheriff. He's not had any political gains at all. He's just a businessman, and that doesn't speak well. Like if you look at the rest of them, then you'll actually find out that a lot of them where they had served in some way, he hasn't, and
yeah.
that's
He's
sad.
They just thought he was qualified because I guess he's rich,
Yep,
which
yep, yep.
which I'm like, because I remember Ross Perot ran when I was a kid, and Ross Perot actually had like a plan and shit
Yeah.
he wanted to do, and but there we
Well,
go, man.
Reagan was an actor beforehand.
Huh?
Ronald Reagan, he was an actor beforehand.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Even he didn't. I don't know. He didn't. He had his own agenda, so.
Yeah, and the
But.
Bush administration, that was all built on oil and shit like that because they were oil magnates.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
So anyway, this is Antonio Ortiz, Copycat the Great. I'm here back at the We Are the Great Movement podcast, and today my guest will be. I don't know if I usually let the person introduce themselves, man, but
yeah,
I don't know if I should be doing it or you should be doing it or.
right. Name's Cameron Thompson. I go by the name Swin Deorin or Bashnova. Bashnova.
Yep,
Yep,
that's
that's
what
me.
I know you by Bash, so
Or
I'll be
the,
calling you that a lot.
that's cool. You can call me Cameron, Cammy, whatever.
Cam,
As long as it's not dickhead.
Killer Cam, all right.
Yeah.
But But yeah, like you were saying, political game out here has
Same
been
here, man.
interesting.
Same here. I don't know how it is viewing the UK political scene from over there. How is it from over there?
Uh, I don't know, man. I don't. That's the thing. I'm guess I'm gonna fall on that default dumb
Yeah,
American thing because I don't really follow your politics, but I know y'all have some great punk music and
yeah.
that whole scene. That's all kind of all I know about UK and I guess powdered wigs and shit like that.
Oh, it's very. You think your conservators are bad? Ours are. The rich elite saying that they're going to go against the rich elite, more or less what you've got, but in a sense where these are people that go to well-off schools, have well-off families, and the class divide is very, very, very large. The person who is in just now as the Prime Minister is a racist, a homophobe, a transphobe, and a xenophobe, and he has made past comments on people and certain ethnicities and certain
Hmm.
sexualities and never apologised for it. He stands by what he said. It's like that's no way to treat this sort of position of
Well,
power at all.
yeah. I mean, at least he's upfront about it. We have some guy over here that just kind of wiggles around everything, and
Yeah,
like you don't know where he's at, but he's
yeah.
obviously on one side, but he never actually comes out and says anything. He just
Nope.
lets his little. I don't know, and it's weird because I know we've always had Republican and Democrat, but I've never seen like, I guess it's almost like a cult following that he has. Like it
Yeah,
don't matter what the fuck he says or what he does, and
yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
oh
That's
no, he did that because of this, and
Yeah,
it's like, bro,
I was watching something that was a guy going and using their own logic against them. Like a woman was saying a woman can't be president. This was when Trump was running against Hillary, and a woman can't be president and blah blah blah. And then there was the whole birther thing with the Obama thing, saying that we need someone who was there, who can prove that he was born in this country, and so on. And the guy asked, "What about his mother?" She said, "Well, she's got a bias." Okay, what about the doctor? Okay, maybe the doctor. But what about Trump? Was he born in the US? Well, yeah. Well, can we use his mother? No, we can't use his mother because she's got a bias. No, we can't. Well, just use your logic against you. So it shows you that some people don't have the critical thinking capacity to actually step away from something and engage it completely in all possible positions, and that's sad.
yeah, this
Yeah,
I don't know. And that seems like his base has that kind of mindset with it as well. Like they don't look at
yeah,
any other perspective except theirs, and
yeah,
that's all they think is like the solid truth. Or like hell, they go against science.
yeah,
They claim he's religious, which I mean, this is Trump, man. Like I lived in New Jersey back when all that what was it, the I can't even think of the Central Park Five and all that shit was
yeah,
going
yeah,
down. Like I don't remember it entirely, but I remember catching bits, and then he put that whole fucking page in the New York Times or some
yeah,
shit.
man. That was racist as fuck, man.
I
That was
know.
horrible. Yeah, and like recently,
uh,
I was watching a C-SPAN thing, and it was that brilliant congresswoman. She was saying that she's a Christian. I forget her name. You might know her, but she was saying that a lot of what's happened now in lieu of religious stuff, they're using it for persecution and trying to promote things so that people don't get things, and that's not what religion should be. And that really eats into a whole thing with the Republican sensibility that I've seen in the past. Even from listening to Bill Hicks, he said it too. If Jesus was here, he would be labeled like
Paris
horrible.
or
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, and that's not right. The guy was pure love. Like that's what it should be.
yeah. Just now, I mean, the whole scape of just I guess our media, hell, even the social media all blends together and is just very biased and like I lost my
Yeah,
train of thought, but
yeah, it is quite
they'll
biased. Yeah, and
yeah,
the weirdest thing that he does is that he really just he'll say something then deny it then deflect, and I don't get why he deflects like that. And it doesn't help the matters when someone's brought something up that he said and there's no clarification at all. Um, and
yep,
that's horrible. For the
it's
sake of it, I think we need a little bit more satire now than ever. Like, because comedy should heighten and show these people for who they are. Same with art; it should be bigger and stronger now, and it's kind of weakened in a sense.
yeah,
Like, how old are you?
38. So yeah, I've
Right,
seen
38.
this whole PC movement
Yeah,
and this what is it? They label everyone a snowflake, but
yeah,
if you say something against them, they actually turn into whatever they're, that snowflake thing that they're always talking about. You got all these buzzwords triggered and
yeah.
all the cancel culture and
Mhm.
you should be canceled, but it's just
Especially,
it's a
yeah,
different dynamic, especially with the social media now.
yeah, especially with what had just happened lately with Jenna Marbles. She put out a video today apologising for some things that she had done in the past. But from following her for so long, you know that she didn't mean any wrongdoing. She didn't want to offend people. But the fact of the matter is that no matter what you do, people, especially on the internet, they are going to be offended in some way or not, in some way or other. And you can't please everyone. But another thing that they seem to forget is nothing happens when you're offended. That is just your opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
if you take a step back and just regulate as to why they're showing you this, then you need to kind of come to it full circle. My father told me when I went to see him today that they're trying to censor Blazing Saddles. Now, Blazing Saddles, you know
Oh
what I'm guessing?
Lord, yes, I love
That
Blazing.
that
Gene
makes it,
Wilder.
yeah, that makes a mockery of racism.
Yeah,
But because certain words that are used in it, they're wanting to censor it. That
that's
doesn't that it
it's not
just
helping anything.
no, it doesn't help anything at all, man. And
Man.
yeah,
And you speaking on the Jenna Marbles thing, I have like been looking at YouTube and I
mhm,
noticed that like Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, like there's all these people, like you said, they've done stuff in the past.
yeah,
Some of them were more, you know that if they were racist or not, or if they were actually joking.
yeah.
But yeah, this whole thing is like all these skeletons are coming out of the closet,
Yeah.
sort of say, and like
Well,
it's either, you know, either they're like really believe that shit, and even though some of them come out and apologize, like you can tell, like they weren't like they actually meant that shit when they put it out
yeah,
there.
yeah. Like I like Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa didn't believe in censorship. He would want to say whatever he could, and I believe that because he went against the PMRC when it was happening, the whole Tipper Gore thing, and
Okay.
showed that a lot of things that it is just a religious persecution to like adults with their own sensible mind can go for things that they want, but it's just for children. So if you've got an album there, are you going to let your kids listen to it if it's screaming horrible words and stuff like that? That's on
Uh,
you, the parent.
I
So you,
probably would.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's on you as a parent. Like I've not
Yeah.
got kids, but I know the moral rights and wrongs. I'm not going to show a kid like slasher gore films. You know, like
Mhm.
that's wrong. But for an adult to do that, they're like some people don't like horror. That's on them.
Yeah.
But for someone to make a horror, that censorship of something like that, like a creative pursuit, isn't right. Depending on how far it goes, going into the art aspect with it, sometimes things should be censored, sometimes they shouldn't.
Definitely. Yeah. Cause yeah, I mean, and it's funny you bring up horror movies, cause lately I've been seeing a lot of horror movies that just try to go too far,
Yeah,
and it's not like authentic to where to the like you said to the art itself. It's just like they're trying. Like I think a Serbian film was one.
yeah, I watched
The
that. That
house
was
that Jack built was another one where it's
yeah.
just like you're trying to go too far with certain things.
Well, Lars von Trier, he does have that. If you've seen Idiotern, the idiots, that just showed you like another thing
Yeah.
that can happen. Like it's not real, it's fiction. Like that's just something that's been made up. It's not real. This is just a fiction. Like this isn't real life. This is just actors
Hmm.
playing parts. Uh, but the house that Jack built, that was fantastic. I really
Yeah.
liked it. Um,
I watched it and I don't know, people kept talking about that, the scene with the kids, and like it wasn't, he didn't go overboard. Like some people think that, I guess, just that, just because what is it? He kind of, I can't think of the word, but he kind of, like, he didn't really show the whole, like, he didn't show it in depth and graphic,
yeah,
but he kind of implied it. That's the word I was looking for. He
yeah,
implied what happened, and they said people walked out of the theater, and
Yep.
but yeah, I think Serbian one is like way over the line. But I did actually watch the House That Jack Built, and I
Yeah.
watched it through, and I might not understand the whole thing, but
Yeah.
I know it had something to do with, I guess, the hell, some sort of hell aspect to it.
Yeah, there was something like, well, it's your actions have, like, that's your action, like that's where I think it kind of takes the name from, the house that Jack built.
Yep.
It's your choices, and the choices that you make have implications to them, really. And murder is one, and torture and shit like that. Um, but a
But
Serbian film, like a lot of that was also like how Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs, you don't see him cut the ear off, but you see
it's
him
yeah,
like afterwards with the ear. You know, it's implied, but you don't see it happening.
uh,
That's nice because your mind goes to another place, and I like to
yeah,
do that with music too, man. Your mind can go to another place with stuff. There's a feeling maybe that you might want to get over, even with art. There's a feeling you might want to get over with it, and if you can somehow translate that in audio or visual, then it's
hmm
a, well, that's my dog yawning. Then that's kind of your job done. If you make someone feel something, then that's pretty good. You've done your job. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad.
you were expressing, if you can make someone feel something through art,
Yeah,
and yeah, I totally agree with that.
yeah.
It doesn't matter what they get out of it. It's just
Mhm.
you did some, and so yeah. Speaking of art, man, just what kind? So you were talking how you some give me some of your like inspirations and like what kind of other mediums do you use to express your own art?
Lately, it's been um. It seems weird saying it out loud, but picking up things from the street. Like
Well,
I found a cork, and I want to cut that down and put it onto things and see how it feels when it looks like something else.
okay,
Add it to other things, things that shouldn't go with things, because I like surrealism. And
yeah,
a big thing about surrealism is the chance meeting of an umbrella on a bicycle or an umbrella and a sewing machine on a dissection table. I think that's fantastic. Two things that go together that shouldn't go together, but you make them go
okay,
together. And
like some sort of repurposing thing going on.
yeah, completely. There's a lot of stuff that we throw out that could be used again. I like doing that. A friend went on about to me. What's it called? She was going on about upcycling, not recycling, upcycling, where you take something and then you make it into another thing for another
Okay,
use. So you upcycle something. If you've got 10 broken bicycles, how can you upcycle the bicycles? You can take the wheels apart. Um, that kind of stuff really gets my mind going. What can we use this for?
huh.
How can we use that differently that's not been used before? Because everything's got something that it can be used for, but not for the thing that's originally used for.
Yeah,
Inspirations. There's a lot of surrealists. I like a lot of contemporary art that doesn't look right. Stuff that doesn't really. You have to kind of read into a little bit more. Um,
hmm,
Even Rothko, you need to kind of look into him a little bit more to kind of understand why the colours work. You need to sit with it and then look at it. And why does it work? Because yeah, that was his thing, to sit with it and actually take the colour in and let it hit you emotionally. Um, Musical, I like everything and anything apart from country. Can't stand country. That's
that's
just yeah,
same here, man. I'm not
yeah,
too bit. Well, I'm not gonna. I do like classic country. Some of it, like Cash, and there's
yeah.
a few other songs that I could
Willie Nelson.
get into, like the old, yes, like the old
Yeah,
school,
yeah,
stuff like that. But
yeah.
because the new stuff is, I guess, like some kind of pop thing or something. I'm not even sure what they call it, or I don't even know why that's considered country.
It does have a bigger, because pop is just popular, so you could call it country pop in a sense.
Yeah.
But anything and everything, I got really into electronic music when I was a teenager, so that's been my go-to for ages.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I've started adding a little bit more guitar to it, a little bit more real instruments as I go on and on. But art, anything goes. Literally,
Definitely.
anything goes. If you can take one thing and provide it into another context, then develop that context and make it work. It's the work in the process of making something into something else that's just fascinating to me. I like print work. There's a guy, Emil.Underbjerg, fascinating lino cuts he does. There's another couple of people that I like. My friend Gat.Relle, she's fantastic artist. They're a fantastic artist. Keith Fig, he does these amazing geometric stuff. There's so many people out there that just escape the mind, but these are just people that I kind of friends that I kind of want to put out.
Okay. I mean, but you'll have to send me some of those links so I can interview them too, or
get
them out there, man, because it's a big world and people need more art now than they've ever done because they're all stuck in that fake world. I like to call that media shit like it's some kind of fantasy land that keeps you, I guess, hypnotized to it.
Yeah, like Instagram algorithms and stuff like that. Like it just keeps you hypnotized, keeps you liking, keeps you scrolling and shit like that. Mm-hmm. I agree with
Facebook,
that.
Yep, all that shit. It all comes back into pulling you. I don't know. I feel like it pulls you in and takes your energy, and that's the only way that thing stays there because everyone keeps going back into that matrix or whatever you want to call it, man.
I do agree with that. Yeah.
Cause anyway, you've ever had any kind of, I guess, ghost follow you? I always ask people if they've had some kind of different encounter that could be considered otherworldly, or
I've always
do you practice anything?
I've always had that interest in how people use their intuition. Intuition to me is a ghost. When you feel something, that's a ghost. When you feel something like today, like that whole Jenna Marbles thing we talked about a couple of days ago, I was thinking I want to go back through her old videos. And then today in the video, she has privated a lot of her old videos, because she doesn't want to offend people. Now, was that the ghost? A paranormal experience when I was a child, maybe 4 or 5. I was at my Auntie Sandra's house, sleeping over, and I was going to the toilet. It was an upstairs landing, and all I remember is seeing this big purple face out of nowhere, like must have been about 5-6 feet across, and it scared me to death, man. I just ran in crying. That was interesting. After I found my friend Nathan dead, I think this was more PTSD because I found him dead, but afterwards there was always like a shadow at the foot of my bed. Nathan had PTSD and he was a paranoid schizophrenic, and he was an ex-alcoholic as well, and he used to stand at the foot of my bed when we were talking, and he'd rock back and forth all the time. And I used to see that still do now and again. I always think that it's him. He's kind of following me about. But other than that, nothing else. I do believe that a paranormal could exist, but I wouldn't say I'm an unbeliever. I would just say that until I'm there, me, I can't provide proof of it.
Yeah.
What about
That's a
you?
good stance, man. Yeah. I'm deep into occult shit.
Yeah.
If you ever see anything, especially, well, I used to push it a lot on social media when I was maybe a few years back, but
Yeah.
as of now, man, I don't give a shit what anyone believes. I just
Yeah.
believe what I believe, and
Yeah.
you know, I can't do. I do believe, that when you get new information
Uh-huh.
and that information, like, I guess I just kind of build on my whole belief system. I don't take something and just make it to where it's that sacred. Like, if it's wrong, I'll just throw it out or,
Yeah.
recycle it. Like you said, I'll just kind of figure out what it really means. And
Yeah.
if it's of use to me, I keep it and use it. If it's no use to me, then, so long.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to sit here and try to tell someone else what they should believe. And I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a big world, it's an experience, and hell, I don't know. Have you ever done like any kind of psychedelics or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
To go back to your thing about rituals, the funniest thing about psychedelics is that the first trip I had on mushrooms was a really bad one. I had a bad trip and I ended up phoning an ambulance because I thought my heart was going to explode and I was hearing audio hallucinations and I was freaking the hell out. I didn't know that you needed to be out in nature, and I think I took too much in a tea, just a coffee mug amount of water.
Oh, okay.
And after that, a friend of mine, um, he proposed that we take the mushrooms on Halloween, Samhain,
Okay.
at dusk when the sun is going down, so that when our mushrooms are kind of hitting us, our pupils are opening up as the sun was
Yeah.
going down, so that it was a nice little ritual to kind of get into, and that was good. That was nice and floaty, coming in and out of it, and it was beautiful just seeing trailers, feeling happy, and just letting go, really. Not like
Ah,
the first one. The first one was kind of like a very introspective nightmare where I didn't know what was happening. Um, done acid quite a lot.
nah.
First time I done acid, I took 2 tabs, and I remember going to my friend Thomas's, and we were sitting watching Eamon Tobin, the ISOM live thing. And if you've ever seen this, watch it, man. It's ISOM, ISAM, by Eamon Tobin.
Yeah.
Think of that on acid. Holy crap, man. I needed to leave. This was getting way too much for me. Wasn't vibing with it at all. Went home, sitting on the bus. The bus is like getting faster, and I was thinking, I'm in the Starship Enterprise. Like thinking of the revs going up. It was really nice. I used to like going down the park watching the sunset whilst I was on acid. Uh, that was really nice. Talking about everything that I love as well. That was good. That was good to kind of cathartic to get that out. That I loved things. I needed that emotive catharsis. Um, Yet to do DMT. I'm kind of scared of that one.
Yeah. I've done the other two. Well, I've had my first real mushroom trip maybe a few days ago,
Right. Well, how are you
and
feeling now, man? How are you feeling?
I'm good, man. That one, man, it was kind of. I didn't do anything. I just kind of meditated,
Yeah.
and it was so weird because all my thoughts became. I don't even know how to explain it. It was like I felt like I just became some kind of cosmic slop or something.
You're right.
Sort of, yeah. I just because I was meditating, so I'm sitting there, I'm having my own little weird thoughts, and like I was thinking about dead people like a lot,
Right.
just like a friend of mine on Mo that died, and then I started thinking about David Bowie, and it just kind of all of a sudden I just felt like even though they're not physically here, they're still in the ethers or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then it felt like all my thoughts just became some kind of mush, and I kept having like I kept putting words together that made no fucking sense whatsoever. I couldn't even repeat them if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of felt the cosmic energy, I guess, go through me.
Yeah.
It
That
was
first
really,
trip.
it was really, yeah, it was something, man.
Dude, that first trip that I had, right? Because I was inside, I tried to go to sleep with it and try and meditate like you did,
Hmm.
but the amount that I took was way too many, as I said. And
Nah,
when I
yeah, I
was
took,
closing, when I was closing my eyes, I was getting closed eye fractal images.
hmm,
And when I opened my eyes, I was lying in these satin sheets. My knees were under them, and they were leopard print. And dude, it was like my knees were these big, huge two sand pillars, and I was like in the middle of a desert.
yeah,
It was fucking weird. Went down the stairs to wait in the ambulance, but I was like a millimeter high, but on steps that were 50,000 feet tall. But I was 50,000 feet tall, and I was sitting on a step that was 1 millimeter high. You know,
yeah, yeah,
this,
because it's, I don't know, you do get all this visuals and
yeah,
audio stuff, man, and it's quite eye opening.
yeah,
I
sense
took
of proportion went, but
yeah, I think I did 2 grams,
right,
but yeah, what you're the bad trip I had was when I first took LSD. That was,
right,
ooh, that was a nightmare, man. I think I got a
wow,
triple dose of it,
right,
and and that, yeah, I mean, I had something from my first trip come back on that mushroom one. It was something about like water and
yeah,
I don't know, I believe it's something to do with my ancestors.
yeah.
I
Well,
can kind of feel some kind of, I guess, generational trauma sort of thing.
maybe it is because before I took the second trip, I've only done them twice. Before I took the second trip, I was meditating on a phrase. The phrase was, "We eat these treats to commune with the dead because mushrooms grow from dead things."
Yeah.
Uh, the stuff that you would get is going to be different from the stuff that I get because the stuff that we get here are liberty caps, psilocybe cyclamentia.
Okay.
The stuff that you had were probably something totally different.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I don't know. They were like little, well, they weren't little. They were varied in sizes, but they were kind of brownish and
yeah.
white.
Um,
But
to get back to your thing about um rituals, I was thinking about that. I do have rituals now and then, like when it comes to when I need to cleanse the
hmm,
air in this place, if I'm doing another big project in art, or if I feel like I need to get my mind right before I tune into music and start creating a little bit more, light some candles, light some incense, sit and meditate, or I'll
yeah,
use my singing bowls. Um, and I've got my little Buddhas. I've got everything here is quite nature orientated in my flat. It's quite nice. So it's communing with nature in a sense, and I think
yeah.
that was one big thing that the second trip hit me with. What about you?
I
Like that
just
second mushroom trip?
yeah, it like I said, it was, to me, it was almost kind of like my first, like I said, that LSD trip.
Yeah,
And the mushroom one, even though they were kind of different, because like I said, the LSD one I had like maybe for 4 hours, like it was a nightmare. I was going through what I want to say, that ego breaking thing,
yeah, ego
which
death.
lets you
Yeah,
know you're nothing. And like I felt that, and it broke down a lot of walls.
yeah,
So into the mushroom one, it almost was like a continuance of that, because every time for me when I do psychedelics and stuff, man, I usually try to self-reflect. I want to meditate. I want to get into what my own personal, I guess, spirit is trying to tell me, or that's kind of the zone I always get into, because I won't talk. I'll just sit there and be in my own head, because you do have a whole universe within you. So
Yep. You do. Everyone does. That's the
yes.
good thing. That's the good thing about it. Every single person has one thing in common, and that's a first person perspective, and that is just beautiful because, as we know, everyone's going to see something different. They're going to take something different, and that's beautiful, man. It's really nice.
And yeah, I mean, and that's just in general. That's what life is our own. Isn't about the experience. Is the journey. The experience is the journey. I think I saw that somewhere, and I was like, that's so damn true.
That's what I like about creating, though, because it is part and parcel the journey to creating. When I'm like, say, making music, I've been making a couple of things lately. I'm sitting with 16 tracks that are kind of not they're done. They're on Bandcamp, and I'm kind of getting ready to release it and all this stuff. But the couple of things that I'm doing just now, I like the process of doing, because there's the act of creating to me is kind of almost magical, almost like when you're like you do a lot of sigil work. Yeah, it's like that. When you're creating something, you're putting the intention into it. You're creating something, or you can go and create with no intention, so you can leave it ambiguous to the person viewing it.
Definitely.
And I prefer that version, because if you leave it ambiguous, you've put your own feeling into it. But for someone to take it, they can read something out of it that you might not know, that you might have not thought about, and that's magical, because that's a shared experience. As Marcel Duchamp put it, he said that's the grey area of art, where the viewer of the art becomes part of the artwork itself. And to do that is like a higher train of thought, to actually consider someone else's viewpoint. How are they going to see this? Would I want them to see? Do I want to make them think, or am I just going to say this and that's what it is? Or am I going to detail 50 other things? And even if you detail one thing, someone might come away with it completely different, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, say we need more of it, because people, I don't know, like just the whole understanding yourself. A lot of people have not, like, they don't even think about that, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even come up in their own thought process, like, just to sit back and observe themselves, man.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Self-reflect.
yeah, a little bit of self-introspection goes a long way. It really does. Just a
And
little bit, even a couple of hours, just thinking, did I do okay today?
yeah,
Yeah,
have
like,
just some intention, or I don't know, just something. Everyone should do something to help themselves, and because I believe if you stay the same, you cannot stay the same person your whole entire life. You have to evolve, you have to change, you have to adapt, because I mean, hell, that's what humans do, man. We adapt to things.
we've adapted so much now. We're like, we've adapted so much that now we're destroying everything.
Oh, that was a big thing in my trip too. I felt like it was too much consumption going on, and I feel like that was probably the I guess the world or whatever, that energy was basically saying it's too much consumption going on, and which is true, because I mean, and like you said, that's about creating, and like it definitely needs some kind of change and just in society, the whole mindset. And I think Terrence McKenna, and there's a lot of other shaman types and gurus that always say, like, we have to stop consuming so much and start creating, because at the end of the day, we're just gonna kill ourselves off,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
man.
I like the Terence McKenna thing where he was going on about what was it? 10 million years ago, there wasn't that much that was happening, but because we're in an age where we're viewing everything so often, there's more things happening. Like within a 1 year period, so many things happen. But if you take it 10 million years ago, only a
Yeah.
few things happened. Take what happened maybe last year, so many things happened the past 4 years with, like, say, Trump. Like, if you just view that, and it seems like, as a thing, so many things happened, and then you've got everything else happening in the world around it. There is just so many things happening, especially with destruction of the planet, and we
Mm-hmm.
need to do a little bit better as
We,
people and humans, and take care of each other a little bit more.
yeah, take care of each other. We got to take care of the planet, because I mean, we don't. Oh, we're not gonna get another one, even though everyone
Yep.
keeps trying to go to fucking Mars. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like even if we get the technology to live out there, that's not for us. But
Yeah.
like I said, maybe we'll just adapt to the whole fucking living on a spacecraft sort of shit, just like
Or
I
die
think the
trying.
Disney movie. Yeah, I think Disney did Wall-E or some shit like that too,
Yeah.
where where they were stuck in space and they were just living in the ship. And then
Yeah.
come to find
Yeah.
out it was some fucking corporation that wanted to keep everyone there.
Yeah. It was the
And
AI and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And the greed of the corporation programmed the AI like, hey, they need to stay the fuck out there. So
Yeah. 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 And that's
it,
true. Like, it's a good message because some people don't read into that. They just see it as this tiny little thing. They don't necessarily see that all this stuff is happening. Like,
mhm,
they're in their big chairs drinking all their juice and
yeah,
eating whatever they can. And it does kind of speak to how we are just now as people, even the whole Black Mirror stuff. That shows you where we are as people. That's why I like the satire.
it's
Uh,
it's insane that it would be just so much outrage
yeah,
for people to tell police to stop killing people.
yeah.
Like
But even
his
that,
job is supposed to
yeah,
apprehend, not
yeah.
fucking. It's not Judge Dredd, man.
Yes, like that whole shit with that Elijah kid, man, dude, I cried when I found that out. When I listened, I went on Twitter and I listened to that poor kid telling the police that they're beautiful and phenomenal and then dying. That is just horrible. Like, why would you do that to another human being? They don't know his past. They just see a black kid in a mask and then think the worst. If all you're doing as a human is assuming the worst, then it kind of defeats the purpose of life. In a kind of pessimistic sense, like, I know pessimism maybe has its place, but for me it's conspiracy theories because I don't really believe that much in conspiracy theories. I think some of them might have truths at the base of them,
Yeah.
but um, sometimes they promote fear instead of love. David Icke is one, for instance. I just can't get past him, man. I just can't. It's the lizard stuff. I just can't.
The whole
It's
reptilian agenda thing.
Yeah, it's like the reptilian agenda. Then you think, where's that coming from? And then you end up seeing that a lot of right wing people end up espousing that to, like, homosexual agenda and stuff like that, trans agenda, black
Oh,
agenda.
everything's an agenda, man. Like,
Yeah,
and that's people got to understand. Everyone has their own agenda, whether
yeah,
it's a good one or a bad one, is up to the person. And yeah, like it's just so that is just one thing. Like, as especially when you're creating content, art, and stuff. Like, someone might get some kind of like you said, if this can be good or bad. But everyone has a message they're putting into their artwork usually. But like you said, sometimes you can just create something just to create it. But and that's what a really bad thing here, or in general, is the media, how it portrays things, and everyone has their bubble that they can go into.
Yeah. They do.
And
Yeah, you're right.
I'm trying to be someone that's putting stuff out. Like, I'm trying to go straight down the middle. I'm trying to pull more perspectives, get people to see where I came from, where you came from, just anyone in general. Like, you have to think outside the box. We can't just be stuck in our bubbles thinking the world needs to change, but we don't need to change.
I think the prospect of thinking outside the box is a fallacy, because if you think of the world as boxes, then you're going to be in a box your entire life. If you
Mm-hmm.
remove the prospect of a box, then you can do anything. You're not holding yourself, you're not pigeonholing yourself to the prospect of a limitation. In a
Yeah.
sense, there is no box. The box is the spoon. In the Matrix, there is no spoon. There
Yeah.
literally is no box. You've put the box there to rein yourself in. Some people do need it in some senses, but in other senses, for stuff like creativity and other things like politics, maybe they need a box. But
Mm-hmm.
for creativity and other things like nature, you don't need a box. I like the Japanese concept of ma, the space between. Uh, like if you've got a house, the ma is the space that makes the house. You've got four walls. The space between those walls is the ma, the space that makes it. If you've got a football field, you've got the field, the stadium. The ma is what encompasses the space between all that makes the stadium, or the football field, the football field. It's looking at something completely differently, and it's opened my eyes to a little kind of like secret that I don't think many people are privy to.
Sounds. Is that like it sounds like I think quantum mechanics, they call it kind of like a antimatter, I believe.
Well, yeah. Well, take the space. See if you open your hand
Mm-hmm.
and you look at a fist, the space between your fingers, like even when it's open, it's still a hand, but the space between your fingers still has to make that hand. The space between all your organs still makes up the body. Even if your organs are still there, the space between them has to be there. The bottle of water is nothing without the space that makes the thing. Like, you can't have like a cup without having the space to hold the water. That defeats the purpose of the cup. It's just a block in that sense. You need the void, you need the negative space, you need stuff like that. As you said, antimatter, in a sense.
So yeah, and like you're saying, it has its own energy as well. Like, it's a potential energy, and
Yeah. It's where the potential can go to. The potential of everything. Everything has potential. It's just using that energy to put it somewhere else. Uh,
it's
especially with
funny.
emotions. Especially with emotions, as humans, we
Oh
need to
man,
expel. We need to
yeah.
expel a lot of stuff. Like I had a lot of anger when I was a teenager, and when I got older, it ended up becoming a, a project called Shooting Birds Out the Sky that was just harsh noise, because I needed to direct that energy somewhere. I needed to direct my sadness somewhere, so that became Bash Nova. I needed to put the energy of my confusion of life somewhere, and that became Swin Deorin. So there is potential in everything. It's just what you do with that energy when you notice the potential or something that has potential to put it somewhere.
Oh, that's good, because in all the occult stuff I'm into,
Yeah.
it always says if you have something like alcoholism, like you said, anger issues.
Uh-huh.
You can fit you like if you in the card it tells you can make that into an actual object to to pull it from your being and make it something else. That way, you're not walking around with it for the rest of your life. You're
Yeah.
not addressing it. So yeah, that's awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and it also becomes a thing where you can use it as a coping mechanism as well if you're depressed or PTSD or have any other mental ailments. You can use it sort
Oh,
of as a crutch in a sense where you can go back to it, like for art. I like art brut, um, art made by people with mental health issues like schizophrenics and stuff like that. I love looking at that because they need to
yeah,
put some energy somewhere, and seeing like Adolphe Wolf, his stuff is just beautiful, but you wouldn't have known that it's from like a sheep herder from
yeah.
like the 1910s, like,
Huh.
and this guy created these beautiful works of art because he needed potential energy to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cause like you said is an energy, and I believe, oh yeah, and the call I guess is kind of like facing your demon and then making your
mhm.
demon do your bidding. It's kind of
Yeah,
how, yeah, it's kind of how it's portrayed, and everything like that's occult to me almost has some kind of, I want to say it's almost like a quantum physic type thing going on with it.
yeah,
Cause it's like you said, it's that space between the walls. It's all around us. You don't see it, but it's there,
yeah,
and it has like like how time's not linear and shit like that, and just like how you talking about the reference about the box,
yeah,
like it's so much bigger than that, and that kind of what I learned off the psychedelics. Like it confirmed some of my beliefs about how things work. So it did open my eyes to that. It opened
yeah.
just like nothing's linear, nothing's in anything. It's just like I said, it feels like it's just a huge blob, and
Yeah.
you can
Well,
come out of it any way you want.
to quote Bill Hicks again, as I said about Bill Hicks earlier, like him talking about the political spectrum, he had a
Mhm.
brilliant thing because he was a big tripper on mushrooms. He said, uh, "The past is already gone. The future's never going to be here. The present is all you have." It's like, in my own words, like the future is never going to be here. The future is always the penultimate potential that
Yeah,
you create for yourself, and to go into it in a cult way, anything that you do can come back to you. But if you put good emotion into it, or good intent, good thought, then and you're working it for some sort of benefit to help other than hinder, then you're doing good work. Especially with
definitely.
sigils and like writing. I like doing a lot of wordless writing, asemic writing,
Yeah,
where
I've
it's
seen it.
um yeah
Kind of remind me of I don't know if I'm saying it right, the Vunachi manual script or something
yeah
like
yeah
that.
yeah yeah. You said that a wee while ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
some of it does kind of eat into that because I was fascinated by that when I first got the internet.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah, that
you know,
thing.
made up languages like Elvish from Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. I loved that fact that someone could take the time to construct something like that and have letters that are other letters. Uh, you don't. I'm guessing you can't read Chinese like me,
Yeah, nah.
right? But
No.
you can appreciate it as aesthetic value
Yeah.
as an artwork. It's the same instance as the asemic writing. It doesn't. Maybe it doesn't mean anything to you, but you can appreciate it for what it is. Um, yeah, I just like doing it. I like it's like not thinking. Just it's a meditation for me now. It used to be just be something for me to do to keep my hands busy, but now it's just a meditation. It's a practice. It's an ongoing thing. How
A
to hold a
ritual.
pencil differently, yeah. How to hold a pencil differently,
Huh.
using something that maybe shouldn't be used to make a mark, like using a stick and ink, using um, a bit of wood with the fibres all torn a bit away, that might look like a paintbrush, but it's not a paintbrush. Um, you know, uh, taking a piece of linen and maybe using that, uh, something just to make a different mark. It's fantastic. Same with noises, taking something that shouldn't make a noise, like a lighter. We can use that in many different ways. That's a snare, that's a hi-hat, that's something
Mm-hmm.
else. You can make that into something else. It's just the potential energy that you give it and the ideas that come with it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Only you set the limitations on, yeah,
yeah.
on anything
That's
like.
where that's where the box goes out the window. You see what I mean? Like it all just comes back full circle.
But
It's fantastic.
let's see. We're at an hour now.
Holy crap! Holy
Yeah.
crap!
So anyway, so yeah, is there I guess we'll wrap it up, man. I'll definitely have you on again.
Yep.
Probably
Yeah.
sooner than I thought, because I do enjoy talking to you, even like in the voice channels when
Yeah.
we're in Feminology.
Your phenomenology.
Yeah, shout out to them and
Shout out Phenomenology Fit. Shout out Bethany. And shout out to Pop Mutations. Pop Mutations. Check that out if this is going up
yeah, I'll put it on
soon.
my website so you can send me links,
Yeah.
pictures,
Or
whatever,
if this
man.
if this is going up like soon because this is like happening to
You,
like the 26th, 27th, and 28th.
okay.
Pop Mutations is an online virtual thing on YouTube. It's a 3-day virtual music festival. Um, I put in for Pink Noise and I put a track in called Droomin' More, and that was sent to a visual artist and they made a video for it. So
Ah,
I'm
nice,
intrigued to
man.
see. I've not seen it, so I'm intrigued to see it. But there's many artists, like musicians, poets, DJs, through these 3 days, and I'm happy to be a part of it, even in a tiny, like maybe 5 minute thing.
Yeah, hey, exposure's exposure either way,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so yeah. But yeah, we'll have links for all that. Is there anything else you want to throw out there to promote?
Um, Push for anything is coming out soon. I might just drop it on my Bandcamp,
Okay.
like in the next couple of days. Um, yeah, that will be coming. That's like 16 tracks of me traveling through madness to figure things out.
Okay. Yeah, I believe I heard one of you. We had a listening party in Feminology, and
Yeah.
yeah, you had a sound that took me like all over the place. So,
Oh yeah, that was Moonhouse. That was my last one. That was interesting.
but yeah, it was. It was like, no, it felt like some kind of medieval electronic. I don't know. It was, yeah. It had
Wait till
its
you hear.
own.
Wait till you hear this one. This one's hopefully going to knock that out the park. But I like that Moonhouse one because that one's been my favorite for a little while.
Okay. So
This one's
anyway,
got other flavors. Anyway, nice speaking to you, Antonio.
all right, this is Bash Nova.
You.
And once again, you're listening to We Are Great Movement podcast. And if y'all wondering where I'm at, I went out of town to see my mom and stuff, and got some things going on. So, but yeah, I'll keep coming back, and hopefully, I can get back into the vlogging thing. But anyway, yep, we're gonna have Bash's stuff linked up on the website, and we'll have them a little, PR thing going there too. I don't know if you've been on my website, is yourgreat.co. not com, because I always say I can't afford the M at the end of it. So y'all check us out, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Nice talking to you too, man.
You too, man. You too.